The way that you game plan for a specific team is really similar to how you make adjustments, at least in terms of your process. Okay, your goal is to disrupt the patterns or anticipate the patterns that you know you're going to see from a specific team. Those patterns might be an offensive style, they might be a defensive style or strategy, or they might be a specific player or a couple players that you know are going to be keys to the other team. Now, the key for you and your team is to identify the patterns that are going to most affect the other team, and that's going to affect what you actually do and what you prepare for and what you say to your team. So, let's say that you're preparing for a team that you know that they have a couple players that, you know, they're obviously the best players on their team. Great. The key there is to identify like what is really going to fluster those players or get those players out of doing the things that they want to do. You know, if it's a handler, you got to identify what is that handler's like go-to move. Like is she a hooker, or is she, you know, does she like to break the mark? And okay, so if that's true, you got to figure out which one it is. You got to figure out what adjustment you're going to do for that individual person. Maybe it's straight up on the mark. Maybe you're going to put one of your best defenders, one of your like lockdown defenders on that person. Or maybe you're going to put someone who's really tall on that handler so that they can't get off their hooks, right? So the key is identifying who do you want to stop, how do you want to stop them, and then who are you going to have to do it, okay? So that's like how you would do it for specific players. Let's talk about offense, like offensive adjustments that you make. Offensive adjustments that you would make in response to another team's defense. Okay, so again, the key: what is the pattern that the other team does? Let's say the other team really likes to. Let's say they're a really switchy, poachy team. Okay, so for example, a really switchy, poachy team, their goal is to like create chaos and really clog up spaces. Okay, so an actionable thing that you can tell your team is, okay, team, you know, what we really need to do is be really clear about the way that we organize space during this game. So communicating when we're clearing and clearing hard are going to be really important. Also, we know in our offense, in our horizontal offense, we really like to use the middle of the field. So cutters, we really got to get to the rails when we clear. And handlers, we need to keep the ball in the middle of the field. Okay? Again, the thing that the other team did, they're poachy and switchy. So the thing that we do, the actionable thing that we do, is we keep the ball in the middle, we clear hard. Okay? Again, the key is observe what the other team does well. What is the technology or thing that we can do well to combat that? And then what is the actionable thing that we can communicate? All right. Let's talk about a defensive adjustment that we can make as a team. So let's say, again, gotta observe what is the pattern that you're trying to stop. You gotta ask yourself, if this team, when they're practicing, what do they practice? How do they practice it? And how can we stop and limit that thing? So maybe a team is a vertical stack offense team. Vertical stack offenses, they use two big spaces. They like to break the mark. You got to figure out what version of the offense the team likes to do, and then you're going to make a plan, okay? So maybe that plan is going to be you're going to be really, really poachy in the lanes to stop those underneath cuts, and you're going to do a lot of switching and sort of working with the last back. Maybe that's what you want to do. Or maybe you think that their offense is not going to work as well from the sideline. I mean, all these things could be possibilities, and you just have to identify what you want to do and then make that plan and communicate it to the team. It doesn't have to be super, super detailed, but you want it to be concrete enough that you can actually execute that plan. Make it concrete, make it simple, make it specific, and really understand what the other team is trying to do, and pair that with the technology or strategy that you have that you can that will limit what that other team does.